Hey everyone, it's Filgamesh. I just wanted to give a big welcome to new subscribers. It's really awesome that you guys are checking out my stuff. Um, I just wanted to do this really random eBay haul. Let this be a lesson to you that if you're looking for some specific book that's kind of off the beaten path, maybe it's not the best idea in the world if you check out the seller's page to see what other items he has for sale, because I did that, and I ended up with this massive stack of books. Um, so I guess I'll just jump right into it. Well, first of all, let me just say that the one book that I was actually looking for, I'll save that to the very end. It's not like it's really anything particularly special, but I just thought it was kind of cool and I wanted it, and so I just saved it to the end. So this first book that I got, and these are all from the same seller. This first book is Thundercats number 0, published by Wildstorm back in, I don't know, I don't even remember, like maybe 2000, 2001, something like that. It's got a J. Scott Campbell cover. It was it was like $1, so I just I can't even remember if it was a buy it now or if it was just something that nobody else bid on. But anyway, I just figured why not for $1. I don't remember ever seeing it like just in shops, but who knows? It may not be that hard to find. I don't really know. So the next set of books was like a lot. It was the Black Orchid series by Neil Gaiman and Dave McKean. I have had this in trade paperback form for, I don't know, like 20 years or more, but I never actually owned the original prestige format books, and they're really nice looking, so I decided to go ahead and pick them up. I got all three of them for $6, so not too bad. Move that aside. They had this lot of exterminators for $2.79. I don't really know all that much about it, except it was just one of those random X-Men miniseries that they did in the late 80s when they were doing a ton of these just random X-Men books, like Fallen Angels and X-Men versus the Micronauts and all that sort of thing. But I got all 4 issues. 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'd be lying if I said I expected it to be really good, or that I expected it to have any particular value in the future, at least within my lifetime. The next one I got was the Cloak and Dagger miniseries, their first miniseries. I got this for $5, and they're mostly in decent shape. There's a couple of spine ticks on issue 1. There's issue 2, 3. Since they're both drug addicts, I think we can guess what the hunger is that's growing. And 4. I also picked up the Legends miniseries from DC. All 6 issues, they were being sold as a lot for $10. I actually already have issue 1, but I now own the entire miniseries. Issue 1 is the first appearance of Amanda Waller. There's issue 2. Issue 3, which is the first appearance of the Suicide Squad. Four. 5. And 6. We also had the entire Tales of the New Teen Titans miniseries. I think these are the first solo stories for all of these characters. And I got this entire lot for 13 bucks. And these are, seems like they've been heating up a little bit over the past, I don't know, 6 months or so. So I don't know what they'll do in the future, but got the Cyborg issue, the Raven issue. I guess this is when they were calling Beast Boy Changeling, but I don't really know that much about his history. And Starfire. So, I had to get those. This is an interesting one. I'm not going to show all of these because the guy had a lot of the entire run of 52, all 52 issues. He had it for $34.95 or something like that. So for that price, I figured I might as well go ahead and get it. It's, I mean, it's co-written by guys like Grant Morrison and Greg Rucka and Jeff Johns. So I think, I've never read it before, but from what I've heard, it's actually pretty decent. Like, a lot better than any of the other weekly series that ever came after it. So I just thought I'd show issue 1, and then issue 7, which has the first appearance of Kate Kane, who becomes Batwoman. Issue 9, which I think is her cameo appearance as Batwoman. And then issue 11 is her first full appearance as Batwoman. Yeah, this was kind of a random one. Deathmate Black. I remember these when they came out. I actually got the yellow and blue issues, and I think there was some sort of prologue to it that I got as well. Because back in the early 90s, I really liked Valiant Comics. I mean, they were doing a lot of really good stuff back when Jim Shooter was running the company, and then he left, and it went downhill like really fast. And this is probably one of the worst things that they ever did. This particular version was put out by one of the Image studios, Jim Lee's studio, because this is the first appearance of Gen 13. I got this book for $2, so it was really cheap. I mean, they printed 1 million of these, so I don't know if they literally printed 1 million, but, you know, close enough. So, and I flipped through it, and man, it's just as awful as I remember. I mean, the 2 Valiant issues were really awful too, and this was right in line with those. It was just dreadful. But anyway, whatever, you know, it's the first appearance of Gen 13. So this next lot is actually pretty cool. I got a run of, I think this is only 6 issues long, and I've got all 6 of Star Slayer by Pacific Comics. This first issue, it's got this really sweet painted cover by Mike Grell. I don't really know anything about this Star Slayer character. He kind of looks like Conan in space, which, you know, I guess that's pretty cool. But the main attraction here is issue 2, which, although you can't tell from the cover, is the first appearance of the Rocketeer. And I actually already have this issue, but I'd have to dig it out to check to see if this is an upgrade or not. This one's in really nice shape. So, I mean, it by itself is worth what I paid for the entire lot. Maybe even worth more. And I also got issue 3, issue 4, and these are all Mike Grell covers. Issue 5 and issue 6. So yeah, I was actually pretty happy to find those. I wasn't really expecting to find those. I wasn't looking for them, but it's pretty cool to have them. While I was there, I also noticed this lot of Pacific Presents, all 4 issues of this, and I got these for what was it? $7. $7 for Pacific Presents, which includes these other early Rocketeer stories, issue 1, issue 2, and then and I actually already have issue 2. This and the first appearance of the Rocketeer are the only Rocketeer stories that I managed to find back in the early 90s when I first started collecting, and I hadn't really thought about it for however many years it's been since then, but just having, just randomly finding them online, I was like, well, I might as well grab them. And there are also issues 3 and 4, which, if I'm not mistaken, do not have Rocketeer stories in them. And for another $3, I also got this special edition of the Rocketeer #1. So I think at this point, all I need is the Rocketeer Adventure magazine, and I'll have all of it that Dave Stevens ever put out. And I mean, if you've never seen Dave Stevens' art before, you've gotta Google him and just look at some of the stuff that he's drawn, because the guy was amazing. He was like one of the best comics artists of all time, in my opinion. And that Rocketeer Adventure magazine, I see it in the wild sometimes, so at some point I'm sure I'll pick it up. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. So we'll put that aside. And I also managed to find a copy of The Badger #1. This is a Mike Baron book, and I don't really know too much about it. It's just one of those independent superhero books back in the 80s. But, whatever, this is his first appearance. And I think it ran for a while, too. But it's in great shape, and it was pretty cheap, so I figured I'd pick it up. I was really happy to find this one. Xenozoic Tales #1. This is a first print. You can tell from this, you can see it. Yeah, this, oops, sorry. I hope the motion sickness there didn't make anybody throw up. You can tell from this banner across the top that this is the first print. This is probably better known under the name of Cadillacs and Dinosaurs, which was the collection that it was published under. And I think they made like a cartoon or something called Cadillacs and Dinosaurs that was based on this. But anyway, it's got Mark Schultz art, and I mean, he wrote it too, but his artwork is really amazing. It reminds me a lot of like old style newspaper strips, like I don't know, Flash Gordon, Prince Valiant, that kind of really detailed black and white work. That's what it looks like. It's really cool. It's really awesome. I was really happy to find this, and for only $3, because I think it's worth like 10 or something like that. And this book is in great shape too. Finally, the very last book, the one that I had been looking for in the first place, is The Maze Agency #1. This is really early Adam Hughes artwork. I think it's his first regular series, I think it's his first work in color. But yeah, I think he'd done maybe 2 or 3 comics before this. There's not very much that's earlier. But, I mean, you can kind of tell that it's him, but it's definitely at an early point in his development as an artist. But it's still, it's nice looking, and it's pretty cool to have. I got it for $3. It's in near mint condition. So I was happy to find it. I'm glad that I got a lot of these other books that I got. I just kind of wish I had a little bit more self-discipline. I guess I don't. Oh well. The things you'll learn about yourself, right? Anyway, that's all I got for now.